to Real Madrid Hub. I am your host, Eric Rivera, and this is, of course, your spot for everything Real Madrid news. Well, it is the international break, which I'm sure is not of news to many of you, but many of our players, of course, are not wearing the white jersey and are wearing the jersey of their international teams. And two players stood out, scoring goals. They are two attacking players for Real Madrid, and one of them, of course, is Gareth Bale, who had a fantastic weekend against Belarus, scoring a hat trick, 2 goals from the penalty spot, and 1 goal in run of play. And this is, great news for Gareth Bale. I mean, he's been essentially trying to show Real Madrid in this potentially last season of his with Los Blancos, that he wants to leave on a good note and, score goals. He's performed pretty well with Real Madrid. Has not scored, did score, with Real Madrid, of course, during this season, of course, in the last few games. But, he's scoring a hat trick with Wales was absolutely spectacular for him. He is showing that he wants to, get in the best shape possible, in the best form possible, not only for Real Madrid, but he has said it, of course, for Wales, for the World Cup, in preparation for the World Cup, and he is doing so. We all know that he did not have a good relationship with Zinedine Zidane. Things weren't going well for him at Real Madrid. He wasn't scoring. He definitely did not look like the player that first started with us, which was absolutely a world-class player. But Bale is starting to get that form back, and he is doing extremely well. And, scoring 3 goals for his national team, has scored already for Real Madrid, and he's looking like he is in the best form of his career currently, of the last few years. So it is good to see him scoring, and it's good to see him getting back into form, especially because we need him to score goals for Real Madrid. It can't only be Benzema, and that is important. So it's good to see him back on the score sheet and doing so well, especially not only for his national team, but also doing well for Real Madrid. And in addition to Gareth Bale, the other player that broke his duck, as they say, essentially scoring a goal for his national team, which hadn't happened in 2 years, was none other than Eden Hazard, a player that recently stated that he wants to give back to Real Madrid because he knows that they paid so much money for him and he feels he owes them. Well, he's trying to get back in shape. He's trying to get back into form, and he did so, of course, with the Belgian national team, scoring a goal in a 3-0 win for the Red Devils over the Czech Republic. The other goals came from, of course, Romelu Lukaku, who is the highest goal scorer for Belgium. And then the second highest goal scorer is Eden Hazard, and the last goal was by Alexis Saelemaekers. So it was really good for our attacking players, especially in the likes of Gareth Bale and Eden Hazard, to be scoring those goals. And then, of course, another Madridista that was with the Belgian team is, of course, Thibaut Courtois, who was able to keep yet another clean sheet for his team, whether that's the international team or whether that's Real Madrid. Thibaut Courtois has been, of course, one of the world's best keepers, and we are glad to have him on the team. But really good for both Eden Hazard and then Gareth Bale for Wales to be scoring for us. For scoring for their national teams and getting that confidence back so that they can score for us, of course, when they return to Real Madrid. In addition to that, guys, more news essentially is, of course, that we recently, with the transfer window, we did not get Mbappe, but we got Camavinga, who is a player that has been very sought after by big name clubs, including PSG, of course, and including Manchester United. And one of the things that Alejandro Moreno from Defensa Central pointed out was that at 17 years of age, currently Camavinga is 18 years of age, at 17 years of age, Camavinga was already valued at 46 million more euros than his French counterpart. Of course, at 18 years old, Kylian Mbappe's value shot up to about 90 million euros. But regardless, at 18 years old on transfer market, Camavinga is valued at 55 million euros. A very, very sought after player, a very talented player that a lot of people are looking at. And, he has the same sort of star alongside him that Kylian Mbappe had, especially, thinking about when he was 17 years old, he was valued at between 50 to 60 euros, apparently. So, that is crazy for a player of 18 years old. And at 17, he was still valued at 50 million more, or about 46 million more euros than Kylian Mbappe at that time. So the idea behind this report was trying to show that getting Camavinga for around 30 million euros and change because of the bonuses and add-ons was a spectacular addition to Real Madrid, and a spectacular business move by Real Madrid for Camavinga. Even, admittedly, Stade Rennes wanted more money for him, but they settled on the 30 million, of course, because I guess, pricing during the pandemic and everything like that. It was actually a deal that we've heard was in the making for many years with Real Madrid. Real Madrid speaking to him for over 3 years. They were looking at Camavinga, and we're trying to get this deal done. So even though it seemed like it was a last-minute deal, or kind of surprised everyone because of the focus we had on Mbappe, Camavinga coming was a deal that Real Madrid was working on quietly, and did some great business there. And we have to see how he is going to do in the midfield for Real Madrid, a stacked midfield, but an aging midfield. So he comes in at a perfect time when the team is looking at other players to fill those positions, of course, that would eventually be left by the likes of Toni Kroos and of Luka Modric. Can he be another player that will recover those positions, or will play those positions and be the future at that spot? Everything in the world of football points at yes, of course, because of his talent, and we hope and we can't wait to see him get more opportunities with Real Madrid, especially, considering that we have such a talented and deep midfield. But we definitely need, I would say, backups for our players that are aging, or somebody like Casemiro, who barely ever gets a break. And Camavinga is a solid player in that regard. And to close everything out, guys, of course, I would talk about Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe is, of course, still the number one target for Real Madrid. And, this comes from Juan Ignacio Garcia Ochoa from Diario Marca, saying that Mbappe will come for free, but not free. Essentially, he will come he will come as a free agent, but that doesn't mean that he's free. This has been, going on in Real Madrid, in the media for quite some time now. I would say for a few days now, where, just because somebody's a free agent doesn't mean that they're coming for free. The good thing is, of course, you save yourself the amount of money that you would have to pay the club that player is from. But saving, you would save a lot of money, but you would still be making a huge purpose. Of course, right now, at essentially 12:01 on January 1st, 12:01, 1 minute past midnight on January 1st, Real Madrid is ready to negotiate for Kylian Mbappe to finally bring him over to Real Madrid. Of course, that all depends on if Mbappe renews with PSG or not, even though many people at PSG are hoping that he will renew. They're saying that they're going to try. Of course, they are not going to stop the pressure on him, and that is one thing where Kylian Mbappe is going to have to stay strong, essentially, and hopefully his love for Madrid supersedes whatever they throw at him there at PSG. Real Madrid offered up to 200 million euros on the last day. We even heard up to 220 at one point on the last day of the market, but no business was ever done in that regard. So the one thing that they can save essentially is those 200 million. But the news, of course, that we have heard, and Juan Ignacio Ochoa here, Garcia Ochoa, is also saying the same thing here as well, is that we might possibly see the highest sign-on bonus in the history of football to get Kylian Mbappe. The thing that they are saying right now, the deal that they are approaching apparently, is 80 million euros in between the signing on fee for Kylian Mbappe and and of course the commissions for his agent and his father. This is, of course, still a lower price tag than the 200 million that Madrid was willing to pay for him, but it is not, of course, as you would see, a zero cost move. But it is a huge deal for Real Madrid to save that amount of money, and especially considering the quality of player that Mbappe is, to go on a free, essentially, quote unquote, to come for Real Madrid for 80 million is actually, I would say, in the world of football, how it is currently, would be a steal, because essentially we'd be taking away from PSG without having to pay PSG anything. And that is one of the things that probably makes me the happiest, is that we wouldn't have to pay them a dime. We would just have to pay Kylian Mbappe and his entourage, which so far have been happy with the moves that Real Madrid is making. And as long as we're not paying anything to PSG, I think that would be an amazing business move, considering, how they wanted to play hardball. Well, we're gonna take Camavinga and we're gonna take Mbappe from you. As I said before, hashtag, money can't buy greatness. And there's a reason that this kid wants to come to Real Madrid. He wants to be here. He wants to play with a team. He wants to play with a team that has a legacy of being world champions, has a legacy of being one of the best teams in the world. And, he wants to be part of a project where he is, and it's not a surprise to anyone, he is and will be the focus of Real Madrid. He will be the player that the team is essentially built around. And at this point, a lot of people can say it's ego or whatnot, but the kid has worked for it. He looks solid. He continues to look solid. He's only 22 years old. Definitely one of the best players in the world. He's shown it even during this entire situation with the signing on of Messi and the signing on the apparent deal that was going to go through with Real Madrid, still scoring for PSG. Got a brace in their last game, which was the debut of Leo Messi, and the one who scored was Kylian Mbappe. I mean, we are basically in looking at one of the best players in the world currently. And, I would say once again, 80 million would be a steal to get this guy to come to Real Madrid and essentially not having to pay PSG a thing. But once again, it all is based on the fact that Kylian Mbappe has to keep on rejecting what PSG is going to throw at him. And they are going to throw all sorts of things at him. We've already seen, the pressure on him is crazy. But, kudos to him for staying strong for this long and, not budging on his word, that in his dream that he wants to play for Real Madrid. If he continues that way, like we've said many times before, if he continues to do this, getting thrown all sorts of crazy numbers at him to pay him to stay at PSG and everything essentially that the Al Khalifi and the Emir of Qatar are going to want to try to give him in order to stay. If he is able to withstand all that and comes and signs on for Real Madrid, I don't know how this guy wouldn't be loved by every single fan of Real Madrid, seeing what he did to essentially what he turned away in order to come to Real Madrid. I mean, pressure-wise, of course, he's going to be getting paid quite a bit of money, but money does talk a lot. So money does say things sometimes. So it's hard to turn down a lot of money when it's offered to you. But he's going to be carrying some bit of money, of course, but he wants to come to a team that is the best team. Regardless of the fact they don't have all the money that PSG has, they are the team that has the legacy of winning things. And I think he feels, would he be known more throughout history as a player that won great things with Real Madrid, or a player that won things with PSG? What is more remembered? It's a player that scored and did amazing things with Real Madrid. So that's the reality of the situation, guys. And that is the news I have for Real Madrid today. And that is the news I have for Real Madrid Hub. Make sure you stay tuned here to Real Madrid Hub for all your Real Madrid news, even during this international break. And as we get closer to restarting again La Liga after the international break, you can stay tuned here at Real Madrid Hub. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification button Follow my good friend JOTA Real Madrid and follow us here at Real Madrid Hub for all your Real Madrid news. And once again, guys, thank you for listening.